Billed as the ultimate sports podcast.
I told you, all of my critics, I told you all that I was the greatest of all time.
Everybody has been waiting.
I'm God gifted.
He's a bull. I'm the matador.
This is the Weekend Guy Podcast, and it begins now.
Hello YouTube, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the channel. It's a new week. It's a new month. We're in June. And damn, what an interesting week it's been for sports. Today even, the Springboks getting those new trades. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the show. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Remember to support us. The Weekend Guy crew is back. Today, Peter is off sick. But I've got the next best thing with me, obviously, his co-host. Sihle is in the building. Sihle, you can say hi to people, man.
Good evening. Good morning, where you are in the world.
Yes, good morning, goeiemorgen, sanibonani, with the local languages. I'm actually sitting here with man of match. Sihle is a hockey player, and this weekend his team, our team, of my former team and team.
Still our team.
They actually did well. Yes, of course. I'm on a maternity break. I'm on a kid break. How was the game, lad?
It was good, man. We played against JP, and we put on a respectable score of 5-0.
Wow.
And
okay.
Yeah, no, not to brag, but
were they hungover or what?
No, they were fully aware of what was happening, but also I bagged a hat trick. So
oh my God!
Why I got man of match.
Man of match.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's good, man. That's what you like to hear. But there's been a lot going on in the world of sports. Obviously, we can start off with that tragic news we heard over the weekend that our legend Clive Barker passed on. Yeah, man. I mean, for someone like me and you who was more or less alive in that era, we know who Clive Barker is. That
is our go-to coach.
Yeah, but just for the audience and might not know who Clive Barker is, just give us a brief background, your understanding. Then I'll also give mine.
So, Clive Barker, to me personally, is a very fond part of my childhood. You know, I recall when I first understood football and our national team, Bafana Bafana, you'd follow them with a passion. And whenever it was game day, the whole township in South Africa would come to a standstill. And you knew the players on the side, but he was this icon on the side telling the boys what to do and coaching them. But most importantly, or rather what I vividly remember, was the goal celebrations,
The flying doors, the flying
aeroplane. It's something I repeatedly done every time we scored. Bafana, So understanding the whole dynamic of the AFCON squad.
AFCON squad.
Those memories are nothing without Coach Clive Barker. And I personally feel Safa should have done right by him by allowing him to go to the World Cup. Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those situations we always talk about here on the podcast, that the value of our South African football, it will always come from us appreciating our local coaches and believing in them.
Without a doubt.
Yes, because it was better we to actually take out Clive Barker and not take him to the World Cup with the same squad. I mean, World Cup 98 was like 2 years down the line. And those players were still in their peak.
Indeed.
Dr. Kumalo was still fine. I mean, almost all of them, they were still fine.
And I look at it from a project perspective. Winning AFCON was unexpected, but it was a good peak.
Yes.
Going to the World Cup was a high for South African football.
Of course,
right? And surely the custodian who took you from 95, 96 would have understood his team better, his philosophy would have been ingrained in the team. By the time we get to 1998 World Cup, and when I look back and now much older, I think it's one of those things where you realize that administrators don't believe in projects and
they just
stakes are high.
Yeah, and they just want quick satisfaction.
Yes.
They don't believe in, building
the person who got you there can actually follow you through.
I think for me, the saddest part of it is that '98 was the train smash.
Yeah.
And we were beaten by an 18-year-old Thierry Henry, unknown. We were owned by unknown players. That's just a fumble. But it should have been, at least we could have gotten some sort
To
of
the next round,
draw.
yeah.
I mean, there's 3-0, those results.
Yeah.
So it shows that a lack of care in SAFA. And I think why, which brings me to this point in terms of why the 1996 crew is no longer really involved in the Bafana setup. Those 1996, those Dr. Kumalas, those Neil Tovis, I think they experienced this administration, which is still obviously still there. Evan Khoza is still there. Kazam Taung is still there.
100%. And it's unfortunate that administrators are given the task to be custodians of culture and development.
Yes.
Right? And how do you then judge the administration that is in charge? You know, you look at the results and the national teams they produce, you know, and it's clear and it's obvious that from 2006, Bafana has regressed.
Ah, come on, like, that's so obvious. Like those
Exactly.
guys, you know,
Like the other day, I was thinking about in 2010, there was legacy funds given to us by FIFA.
okay,
People who were 10 years old in 2010 should be professionals
benefiting, by
right
now,
now.
yeah.
And you look at the state of our under 20 and our
Under 23, they just went to a tournament last year, but it's like the under 23 team is like thrown together last minute to go attend to that.
Exactly. So if people like Clive Barker were still kept in the system,
Yeah.
you know, maybe not necessarily as the coach, but maybe as the technical director of
Consultants,
yes,
yeah.
they know what it takes to get to the pinnacle of African football,
Of course, man.
and you
yes.
can't buy experience, and that knowledge would have reaped rewards multiple times
Because
had he stayed in that
he should
system.
have been in the system, like never let him go, like inside the system.
Indeed.
But a person who's very passionate about Clive Barker is actually Dr. Kumalo. He's like,
Yeah.
he turned, I was listening now on my way here that he said first he was his coach, then he became his father, then he became his friend. But now it brings me back to the GOAT discussion we always have when we start off our podcast.
Yeah.
So last time we discussed who was the best striker of all time. So we ended up, I think, Bani McCarthy won, with
Yeah.
Philman Masinga second.
Yeah.
So now let's
The
get
GOAT
into the
South
best
African.
midfielders. Who's the best midfielder we've ever had in South African football? And now, before you answer,
Okay.
remember there's the 2010 crew, which is the Tekos, Teko Modise,
Shabalalas.
who was on some other hype train in his peak. I don't know what the hell was going on with that
Yeah,
guy.
we haven't had a modern footballer.
That guy was on another
level.
planet.
100%.
So, but going back, rewinding a bit, then who's the best ever, greatest of all time midfielder we've ever had in South Africa?
So without stating the obvious, Dr. Kumalo,
Wow.
you gotta consider the late John
John Shoes.
Moshoeu.
John Shoes Moshoeu, yeah.
He played a pivotal role.
Eric
I think
Tinkler.
Eric Tinkler was very good.
Linda
the destroyer.
Buthelezi.
Linda Buthelezi.
John Wade was benched though.
Yeah, but also when I'm thinking also honorable mention. Helman Mkelele had a good run.
He's a winger though, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go for let's put the wingers aside because we're
Okay.
gonna have I think next week we do the wingers.
Okay,
This time we're doing the
guys-
midfield,
all right,
the CMFs.
Yeah, so for me, it would be Dr. Kumalo, and like I was saying earlier, it's a biased
thing.
decision for me.
Okay.
Dr. Kumalo actually went to high school at Dalwanga Secondary School,
Okay.
which is in Dube, Soweto, which is where I'm from, and it's right opposite my house.
Wow.
So,
okay, you royalty, Mos.
So I had the privilege of seeing Dr. Throughout my childhood, as well as
So you've seen him face to face?
many times.
Which other players have you seen face to face? I've never even seen a single, except for going
Really?
to the stadium. I've never seen the legends.
Sean Bartlett was there. I had a good opportunity when I was a kid. He was in Soweto.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm now focusing on the old school guys. No,
Of course, yeah,
no,
because-
modern guys.
Because the old school guys are the DNA of the Bafana system.
100%.
Yeah.
I think Neil Tovey too. That was a nice one.
Okay, do you know the story behind Neil Tove? How the hell did he get to be the captain? Because I remember in 1992 when we were introduced back from the
Yeah.
apartheid era, he was already captain back then. No, it was Steve
So-
Compella before him.
Yeah, I think it was Steve, but
And then there was
also-
Max. Was Max Maponyana also captain?
Yeah, but Bo Max were retiring by the time
Yeah, the
the
old
96
yeah.
crew came into fruition.
Yeah.
But I think Neil Tovey's captaincy stemmed from the Kaizer Chiefs days. You know, because he was also captain during those times.
Yeah.
So I think if you can handle the pressure of a Soweto Giant, for me, national team is then secondary.
Because
You know,
I've done some research, but I'm not yet done with my research in terms of going back. There's a kit I want since Kappa is coming into the Kaizer Chiefs thing.
yes.
There's a kit I want. It's actually similar to the one I'm wearing. The Kaizer
Yes.
Chiefs with stripes, but it's gold.
I remember that
The
one.
92, 93 kit with the stripes
Iwisa.
kit. Yeah. Iwisa kit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think regarding Neil Tovey, I think, okay, what I'll do is take my personal opinion and just look at it from a sporting perspective.
Yeah.
Usually, your less stylish players
Okay.
make the good leaders.
Okay.
You know, when we think of the Filma singers, your Dr. Kumalus, your Helman Mkheleles, they are more flashy and they'd get most of the attention.
Yeah.
But playing at the back, giving orders and direction, it
Yo,
gives you
okay,
a
because
good foundation.
realistically
to be a leader.
speaking, Neil Tovey is still the best ever captain we've ever had.
Yeah, solid.
Besides,
solid.
Besides him winning the
The AFCON.
AFCON, but he's still the best captain we've ever had.
True. True fighter also. You know.
Yeah.
Compliments players like we said, Linda Buthelezi. When you've got Mr. Mutaung running on the right flank.
Yeah,
You know.
Usizwe
Usizwe,
may
yes,
rest
the
in
late
peace.
Sizwe.
Yeah,
Yes.
Usizwe Mtaung.
So-
Yeah.
so- so
It was
it's-
Sizwe at right.
Yeah, David
Neil
Nyati,
at
was
left, number
back.
3. Lucas and this guy Neil.
Yeah, and testament to Neil Tovey's leadership skills is
Yeah.
Lucas then followed after.
Yes.
And it was
oh.
a brilliant grooming.
And it
time.
was like an easy handover, basically.
Indeed.
I remember
Indeed,
Lucas.
indeed,
so the
indeed.
discussion of the greatest captain, there is Lucas. I forgot about him there.
Yes.
I forgot about him.
So
I think that will be another discussion for another day.
and I'm happy for the viewers to actually give us their opinions.
Of
and
course,
make
yeah.
comments.
Who's
the greatest captain?
Captain we've ever
But also
had.
who's the greatest midfielder?
Midfielder. For me, it's I would actually classify the two midfielders into two different groups. But
Okay.
obviously, essentially 1-1.
Yes.
The defensive mids and the attacking mids.
Okay.
So obviously, you're John.
So you're separating them.
Yeah. So Ufu Shoes versus Doctor. Obviously, Doctor takes it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Then if
He was
it's
a
between
full package job.
Utinkla and Olinda, it's a draw for me there. It's a draw for me there. Because I think for me they were like for like.
No doubt. I'd be leaning more on Tinkler's side, right? And based on the total impact he's then had in South African football,
In terms of coaching.
yeah, and someone who is good in his heyday, but
Okay.
also unheralded, because your defensive midfielders are always unheralded, but it's not someone who has very high highs or very
Yeah.
low lows.
Yeah.
I cannot remember Eric Tinkler putting on a bad performance. He was so consistent for me. And
But then
for
where
me,
is Linda though? Because Linda disappeared. Man.
yeah, I'd be lying if I commented. I have no clue.
Yeah, because
But for me, when I think of that squad, I'd remember Tinkler before
Linda
Buthelezi.
Perez.
Yeah.
For me, it's a draw between those two. Like for
Fair
me,
enough, fair
For
enough.
me, it's a draw. Okay, Doctor still takes the cup.
Yeah,
Because
it's the greatest.
Doctor, in terms of those Brazil games, German games, those games when he was beasting, it was unstoppable then.
You know, I think also a sign of how talented someone is now is when we play against world-class opposition and they don't look out of depth
And play
and they're holding their own.
and having never like played in a European league or
Yes.
like not a recognizable superstar in Europe,
100%.
but still take them to the cleaners.
Exactly. When you can see Uti, look, this man is holding his own, and as in, put him on the opposite team, he'd fit in like a glove.
Okay.
And besides, obviously, Doctor's the ultimate South African footballing superstar.
Yeah. The original.
The original.
The original.
blueprint.
Before Teko, guys, before Teko Motis, there was Dr. Kumal. For those born after 1996, unfortunately...
If you're not on music videos, if guys are not copying your style, if guys don't want to play with your number, you're not doing it right.
I've got a T-shirt here, Chiefs, which
exactly.
I bought, and then I'm wearing his number 15, but it's got my name on it. So for me, it's the legend support. Plus, he's a Puma ambassador or something like that.
And when you think of South African football history, or football in general, number 10 is standard, right? It's legendary. But in South Africa, number 15 has a special place in all our hearts.
I think now the argument now would be a little bit different.
Okay.
Since when you're from Ekasi, from Etubene, so the older generation, the older than us generation, the Jomosono eras, meaning our dads or grandfathers or uncles, they would have a different goat. A Jomosomo, for example.
Yes, and hence why the goat debate, is generational.
It is.
I don't believe in a GOAT that crosses over all generations, because if you try to put someone in a different generation, the arguments for and against vary. So I'll respect every GOAT per generation. Yeah. And we didn't get to see Jomo Sono in his prime. But we have respect. He
was in the era, the Pele era. He's a Pele era player.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, wow.
He was good.
Apparently, like, he was good, not just good.
But he's not that high on my list because I did not see him.
And then another person will argue Steven Pienaar.
Remember,
he's also an AMF.
Yeah. So I'd put Steven Pienaar as South Africa's second.
So you say number one is Dr. Kumar?
Yeah.
That's
number
right.
one
Dr. Kumar.
Is Dr. Kumalo. Okay. Steven Pienaar is second. But just to clarify and also give him his flowers. No. Steven Pienaar is our second greatest export after Benny.
Yeah.
He's a great ambassador for our football. And I've got a lot of respect for his career and his achievements, second to none, actually.
So you say, okay, so it's Dr. Stephen. You put Skilo, is it Skilo? Yeah. In front of John Shoes?
Yes.
And then who's number 3? You have to give it.
Yeah, so I'd want to put Deco, but Deco started more on the wing.
But I feel like Deco for me is number 4. It's not better than Shoes. It's not better than Shoes. It was never better than Shoes Musho. For me, Shoes Musho at its peak. Donna was good. I'm not saying that's why he's in the top 5, but he was not. He was the hype train.
Yeah. No. But also, the hype is real. He dominated that, man. The only thing that held back Deco's career was the lack of trophies. Up until he then got to Sundowns, which was more of a validation of his career. But, Orlando Pirates, Deco, there was no...
2008.
Listen,
2008 Deco.
That run from, I'll put it from 2008 all the way to 13.
With the cornrows.
100%.
It was problematic.
When you are the first of your kind, I think any generation, there's something special. Shoes wasn't even the best of his generation. So that's why I can't put him ahead of Deco.
Okay.
That man gave us good memories.
Okay, so Deco for me, okay, it's a throwback. Okay, yeah. Deco, but when I say John Shoes, but okay, so let's say Deco 3rd, Shoes 4th. Yeah. Who's the last one? Number 5. Chabalala Simpiwe?
He's a winger. He's a winger. Look, the fact that we have to think about it, right? I'm happy with the top 4.
Darren Barkley? Quinton Fortune?
Winger. Still a winger. Look, Quinton Fortune had a very great career, but Quinton Fortune never really captured our hearts as South Africans.
He was a Man U guy.
No, like, it's not even, shitting on his achievements, right? But name me your favorite Quinton Fortune moment.
The goal at the World Cup. We hit like a one thunder goal. The one squad signed him at Man U.
Okay.
Won the goal, I think.
You see, we can't even remember.
He did hit like a nice left-footed shot. The one who got him the contract.
I think it was against Paraguay.
Yeah, Paraguay. Yeah, it was.
But we have to. It doesn't pop up immediately.
Okay, so let's leave it to the audience then.
Yeah,
guys, feel free to give us who's the 5th best number after our list, and feel free to correct our list, obviously, as to who actually is the best midfielder you guys think in our football. Ne?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we've got Dr.
Kumalo, Stephen Pinar,
Teko Modise,
John Shoes
Musheu.
Yeah. So we're
waiting for number 5.
Yeah. So are we specifically focusing on the AMFs or the whole midfielders?
No, attacking mids.
So attacking mids. So best
attacking
attackers.
central. I think that. Yeah, club legend.
Yeah.
No.
Steve de Golea?
He's a winner.
He's a winner.
He's on the Jabupule tips.
Yeah.
We'll save that.
We'll save that for the next one.
Yeah.
All right. So now, okay. So please, guys, feel free to, give us your opinions. Let us know who's your top best AMF.
Yeah.
Top best AMF in South African football history. Because what you're trying to do in another way is to actually build our Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
because these legends need to be in the Hall of Fame. We cannot have a national team, a country where we don't even. Outside the FNB Stadium, there's not even a single statue of a Bafana player. What kind of culture is that? What are we saying to our kids?
But also, that's more questions to Safa and the administration.
Yeah, because now remember, Safa is already old man anyway.
Yeah,
they're old dudes.
Hence why I'm saying I don't think as South Africa will have any progress in terms of our national teams until there's new blood in the administration.
Yeah, because now these guys should be, 12 lifting the trophy should be a statue outside FNB Stadium to be seen 100 years from now.
Indeed.
So
I'm with you 100%.
When we talk about these things, the memories we have, we need to impart the memories.
But it shouldn't also be the only memory. You know, for our infrastructure.
The Simpiwe Chabalala goal, 2010 goal, that should be a statue.
Yeah.
First ever goal, whatever it was. What are they doing? They're not protecting the legacy of our football.
It's more about protecting their egos
and their money.
100%. You know, and for me, that's the disappointing part, is that as much as they're looking after their interests right now, their legacies will be judged over time by what they achieved. Or what South Africa achieved.
What we leave behind.
You know, because it's a sense of mediocrity, left, right, and center. They may be enjoying the presidential suits, the VIP treatment, but over time, their legacies will be judged by what they left behind.
And I feel like another aspect we are having is that we've got the likes of Lucas Radebe, for example. He's around in South Africa. He's around. He's on and off here in UK, I think. But I don't see him being involved in any level of our local football.
But also, what is the environment that he'd then be involved in?
It's not conducive for them.
When you've been exposed to world-class structures, you know the standards it takes to then reach the top.
Yes.
And then you get put into an environment of mediocrity. You yourself also are going to step back and say, look, I can contribute so much more, but I'm better than this.
It's sad though.
So much. And my heart breaks.
It breaks because we need those guys. We need that knowledge.
I feel
like just this last weekend I was watching him on Instagram or Facebook. He was eating Lay's chips on a plane to the UEFA Champions League final, sponsored by Lay's or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like watching this thing. I'm like, Lucas, we actually need him to be like involved in our structure somewhere.
Indeed.
These guys need to be involved somewhere. Come on.
But also, when you think of, and it goes down to administration, that a South African and an African footballing legend is leaving our continent to go endorse a European product, right? On the same weekend, we've got the CAF Champions League
Yeah, you see.
Why cannot Africa and South
Go to
African
the-
football endorse their own legends?
Because we were supposed to
You
go
know
to
what
the
I mean?
CAF Champions League and
Indeed.
yeah.
So it takes Europeans to recognize and acknowledge the contribution this individual has made,
Is made
flying
all
off
the way
continent.
to that thing.
Yeah, to now go share experiences and make memories for European individuals,
Yeah.
whereby we could have taken the exact same individual and taken him to CAF Champions League,
Yeah.
and he could have shared those memories and that knowledge with fellow African
Yeah.
footballers.
I think what we're gonna do, in order to support our African local football, we're gonna
Yeah.
start before we go to the Champions League. We're gonna start with the CAF Champions League, our own continental tournament, because it involves one of our own, Pesita, who's doing very well there.
And shout out to him.
Shout out to
You
him.
know,
He's
for
he's
flying the
actually.
flag.
I'm actually,
so much.
to be honest with you, after Peter left, and I thought things were gonna go bad for him.
Yeah.
That coach, but it was dictated through injuries apparently. But he was given a chance. He took it with both hands.
Yeah, and model professional.
Yeah.
And I hope that he is being taught or used, right,
Yeah.
as a role model in all football academies in South Africa.
Yeah.
It's a nice modern example of what talent, hard work,
Yeah.
and discipline
Discipline.
gets you.
Yeah.
Because all you have to do is just look at his journey.
Mm.
It speaks to itself.
Yeah.
And I hope young South African footballers are looking at him as a testimony to say, look, this man is going places and has gone places.
I think he will enter the GOAT debate
100%.
as on the wingers. Obviously, he's a winger. He's like a false nine, but he plays.
But also, I think not even, I won't even limit his story to just the wingers. I'll put it as a South African talent, in terms of how he started, what he's endured, and his peaks right now, and what a perfect example he is, Joe. Because he started NFD, went to PSL, reached the peaks of PSL, went to Europe. It did not work out, but he did not come back home.
He went to. I think for me, he went to an even more hostile environment to go to. Actually.
Challenging culture, religion, languages. I can't wait for his biography.
And actually, he's actually killing it right now.
Indeed.
He's actually
shocking. He is showing the discipline, resistance, as well as hard work that we wish our Jabu Bules could have done.
They had, because it's the same size.
You know what I mean?
Same kind of playing style.
Exactly. And arguably, you could have said Uguti Abu Pule were more talented.
Yeah.
Abu Ligole were more talented.
Yes.
But if they had that discipline and focus, damn.
Yeah, Pesita has actually surprised me.
And I'm proud of him, Joe. I'm proud of him.
Hey.
Well, what a
because
legend.
now he's actually opened the doors to Europe again. He can actually go back now.
Exactly. And if he does, no one's gonna blink an eye.
No.
We will know
himself.
it is earned.
And if it just goes to show, if you give him enough trust and time, he can actually deliver at a very, very high level.
Yeah.
We need to give kudos where kudos are due, that the Champions League, African Champions League, as much as it is hard for us to win, but Al Ahly is doing that.
It's the pinnacle of African football,
And they take it seriously.
100%. And a simple testimony is what Sundowns done to Al Ahly, versus who was then lifting the trophy. That resistance, or rather that resilience.
Yeah, because Sundowns essentially could have won the trophy if they had.
Yeah,
I don't know what.
They peaked early.
Yeah.
They peaked early, and when it mattered most,
they folded.
Although
in unlucky circumstances with their own goal.
Indeed.
But it's still folding.
Indeed. But that's then the difference between champions of Africa and champions of a country.
Champions mentality. They lacked it there.
Yeah, no, it's another level. That being champion of your country is good enough to a certain point.
Yeah.
To be an African champ.
I feel like they were there though. Yeah, I was so hoping they would go through that.
Look, if there was ever a time where I was a betting man, I would have bet on Sundowns.
Winning.
Yeah.
Yo, They should have won it, man.
But I trust that it will serve as motivation to them to say, look, once you guys have coasted through the DSTV Premiership,
Yeah, obviously.
there's levels.
What about Kaizer Chiefs, though? God damn. Why aren't we coasting? Makhosi amahle siphi, where are we, guys? Where are we? Makhosi amahle siphi. Bakajujulipi, Pirates, where are you? Because this thing is supposed to be a triple threat. You know, everyone are taking this African thing. You know, not a one team, one band tournament. This is supposed to be all of us. Where are we? Where are we? Makhosi amahle.
Kaizer Chiefs.
Eish.
It's
It's a disaster.
Yeah. So right now, at SEB, I don't support Kaizer Chiefs.
I know you support Swallows. Yeah.
Swallows, man. But Kaizer Chiefs is fundamentally broken.
So yeah, we're still discussing the Pesitao impact.
What an ambassador.
What an ambassador for SA football, huh?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You know, and I hope that in every football academy, the Percy Dow story is being.
Do we even still have football academies?
We do, you know, but you know, I so wish South African football could adopt the South African rugby and South African cricket approach, you know, whereby you should be able to track a player.
Yes, of course,
all the way to the pros.
That's difficult because soccer talent is like, okay, so since cricket is more of a privileged sport,
Yeah.
rugby is also a privileged sport.
Yeah.
So soccer is like not general sport, but in talent there's no fancy equipment, just need soccer boots.
So, and then this is where, and now also, I'm always going to put the ball back in the administrator's court in terms of setting a structure where we can track talent, right? Whereby there has to be a specific under 13, under 16, under 18, under 20, under 21 tournament.
I think the recent one we had was the under 17 where Senegal played. I think they made it to the final. They won it actually.
Yeah.
I think they played Morocco. Yeah, they played Morocco in the final. We were in the group stages. We made it past the group stage, but we got whooped 5-0 by Senegal or something like that. Yeah.
And unfortunately, in football in Africa, there's a whole lot of age cheating, right?
Yeah.
But for me, if you have a structure that tracks a player, you know when a player comes into the system as a 13-year-old. You can tell how big and how strong they are at 16, where they are at 18.
Yeah.
There's a lot of competitive school football, competitive club football.
Yeah.
But can we say where all of these age groups meet
This is
at a specific age level?
what I hate about our SAFA, for example. I think if you can recall a couple of years back, maybe 10, 15 years ago, Germany had the same predicament we had in terms of the talent was not coming through in the right way for them. The concepts and stuff, they were not coming through properly. So they took a decision to turn around everything. Like literally one day, turn around everything. Let's start this youth thing from scratch.
Indeed.
Track whatever. And then they won the World Cup in 2014.
2014.
Those sorry, yes?
No. So in terms of also then tracking, right? Is you put development milestones at specific age groups.
Yes.
That if I'm in KZN, if I'm in Limpopo, by the age of 16, I need to understand A, B, C in terms of development.
Technique.
Yeah,
Technique, yeah.
Tactical awareness, physical build too.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a structure in place, no matter where people are coaching or coming from, specific points in your career or in your development, you would have ticked off if the structure is there.
Yeah.
We cannot have professional players who cannot shoot or actually pass a ball.
The ball, then move into
field to
space.
the other-
I was watching a clip on Insta, these clips which come up on Reels. There's a team, I don't know if it's a Spanish, Argentinian, or Brazilian team, but it's 7-year-olds. 7-year-olds.
being taught technique.
The technique they were displaying, I think they would outplay 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
Those 7-year-olds, bruh.
Yeah.
Like, to pass the ball, get into space, and the awareness on the pitch, okay, I've passed the ball, I need to be here. I've done this, I need to be here. They're playing tiki-taka football, that Barcelona thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that Man City thing.
And you know, so as I look at Safa, you know, they always ask a certain question in the footballing world. What is a South African football identity?
We don't have. We've got the new one coming up.
But, right? Who sets and who outlines that? It's Safa,
Yes.
right? Because they've been the custodians of football since liberation, right? So by now, they should be able to tell you this is the South African style of football,
Of
right?
course, like the rugby.
Yeah. And based on those principles, this is what we teach our kids. Because if we are saying we play fast, stylish football, for example, you develop people who play fast, stylish football.
Yeah. Tika-taka.
Yeah. You teach that at under 13. You ingrain it at under 16. You perfect it at under 18. So that by the time someone is 21, it is natural to them. Yeah,
Of course.
But
I've got this nonsense I hate, this football which they play, Kasi, that trickery football.
But you know what, Andile, that is part of our heritage. But we
Jomo Sola never played that football?
No, Marape. We need someone to take, right, that knowledge and then be able to implement it in 11 aside.
And this is where we have a little bit of a difference in terms of the current approach and the historical approach. Because remember, the famous cup they're playing Easter's, whatever famous cup, the one on TV.
Yeah, or the Kasi tournament.
Kasi tournaments, yeah.
My
Money Piri and those ones. Yeah. So remember, back in the day,
Phillies games in
Ojomo,
December,
Phillies, yes. Ojomo Sona, for example.
Yeah.
They're playing the same pitch.
Yeah.
Well, the stadium was as it is you see by cars. There was no grass. Dead track. But they played it competitively and developed it to be professional players.
Indeed.
Now, these Gasi boys, you take them from that Gasi team. There was one which was taken to Chipa United, discovered from that tournament. He didn't cut it at Chipa.
And for me, it then goes back into how did he get to that point?
Yeah.
You know, he plays the football that he knows, based on playing in the street.
It doesn't cut it.
But modern football is just more than shusha.
And the problem is,
technique and everything.
Brazil, I think they've got a similar kind of style we play, but them it's more technicalized. Like so for them it's more structured.
Yeah.
So you can still play your flair, but you play it going forward to score a goal, whatever. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not like
there's no point if you can dribble 5 people, but you can pass a ball at 10 meters.
Yes.
Or if you can't
score the goal. Yeah, well,
what's the point?
I feel like that's a bad example. I'm against that. Like, I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm just saying that do it like, okay, you do it to get past, like, okay, to get past someone. Okay, now you got him past like a skill. It's called a skill at the end of the day. Yeah, it's supposed to get a skill, and a skill takes you past an opponent. A skill does not make you dancing in front of an opponent, not moving forward with the ball. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, that's not football.
No. Then again, I go back to saying, is that South African football?
No.
It isn't.
No.
Right? The shoe shine we see in the 89th, 90th minute, right? That is a small part of our football heritage.
Yes.
Right? But historically, to get to that point, you needed to outplay.
You needed to win. And they should do that when they're winning like 5-0 or 6-0 or something. It's never done during the game.
No. 1-0. Here I am, I'm doing shoe shine. And it's the 30th minute of the game.
Can't do that.
That is not South African.
That's not South African football. That's not football. That's not what we're taking
And just to then round out our conversation in terms of Plessy Down, right? He's gone beyond
Shushain. And it's not like he doesn't have it in him to play it.
Yes.
He can play it.
He's got it. But, right? He has then evolved and has shown the discipline and tactical
awareness. Yes.
To go beyond that.
It's not like he's got everything. They've got like he can play shushain football, but when he needs to, he can use it. It's still him.
Yeah.
He hasn't lost his identity as who he is.
Not at all. Not at all.
But he's able to take it professionally, and it's a perfect example how to do this thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for me, he is the modern role model in terms of South African football,
Yeah.
and I hold his name in high regard.
Yeah.
He also then reminds. No, actually, I hold him above Bo Serero and them because Serero had a brilliant career in South Africa, then went
Left.
overseas.
But didn't have a big impact there.
But
It's a great player, though.
hasn't achieved as much as Percy.
No. But he's a great player, though.
Yeah,
But
Percy
he's
left South
done.
Africa at the right time, right? And has gone on to do great things and continues to shine in very competitive circumstances.
Very, very, and the environment is like bad.
And at the nice time about Percy is he's not just one of the numbers.
Yeah, he's a starter.
Yeah, he's a starter.
And with the different coach, to.
He's actually my Champions League player of the.
Yeah, he did, because he played very, very well.
Very well.
Very well. Oh, speaking of Champions League, I think then, since Sitao is a Champions League African Champions League Player of the Year, who's the European Player of the Year?
Yeah,
He has to come from Man City.
Yeah. No. I was about to say it's hard to look past Man City.
But in Man City, who's been a beast? I think for me, who's been a beast there?
No, it's the argument is either between I think three players, right? Rodrigo's been special. Haaland is the easy answer.
Has he been scoring like a ton of goals?
If I'm not mistaken, he is the top goal scorer.
With this, and this thing is equating to European Player of the Year. Who?
Look, I'd put Rodrigo as my player of the season. He makes a difference, like when you play in the midfield and you're not getting the assists or the goals, you don't always get the shine, right? But there are some guys who make a difference with how they play.
Yeah.
And historically, N'Golo Kante, Makelele, not the flashiest of guys, but everyone in the field knows that motherfucker is so good. You know what I mean? And he makes such a difference.
Yeah.
And I think it was a nice crowning moment for Rodrigo to score in the final.
It was a nice goal, well taken.
Yes. To
Composure.
highlight, to highlight
Composure.
how important he is to City.
Yeah.
Because going into the final, the tensions on KDB, the tensions on Haaland, because they're always getting the goals and the assists and the headlines. But Rodrigo, what a player! So for me, that's my guy.
The Champions League, big player of the season.
Of the season, yes.
You see, the most difficult part about Man City is that the entire team if they're playing in different teams, but with that kind of coaching they have, like each and every single one of them would be a Champions League Player of the Year if they were in different teams, because the entire team is like beasts.
Indeed,
Yeah.
and hence why them winning this Champions League this year,
Treble, going for the treble, that's like, that's crazy.
I'm a Man U guy, so I'm hating.
I'm a Chelsea guy as well, so
I'm hating so hard. But also them winning the treble as well as the Champions League.
Yeah,
we all knew this moment was coming. Pep has been building this team for this specific goal. Biggest difference between City and PSG, City was patient with the project. PSG isn't. And the Champions League doesn't reward one-hit wonders.
Yeah.
And as much as PSG is learning that season, the more PSG is not patient, the more they'll learn
I feel like PSG now has lost the plot, actually.
100%.
They've lost the plot now.
Yeah, because how often is it that a coach wins the league but doesn't win Champions League and is fired?
Yeah, that's not how it works.
And league is a marathon. It's getting those results and performances week in, week out. And if someone is building a project, that's how you build the culture.
Yeah. And
Pep has ingrained his culture and his imprint on that team by dominating the league, so that it translates then into tournament football like the Champions
Yeah.
League. They've learned tough lessons in the past, and I look back the Real Madrid result last season.
Yeah, the Liverpool one.
Yeah, Liverpool.
The Tottenham
results,
one.
you name them, but also even losing to Chelsea in the Champions League final to that Kai Havertz goal, those were tough lessons.
Yeah.
And it would have been so much easier for the City ownership to give up on Pep and say, no, fuck it, you fired. Let's get a new man in. But they believed in the project.
Yeah.
And in his preparation for this year, I'm sure those conversations were had that, look, remember last year with Real Madrid, we thought we had them.
Yeah.
Remember the previous final versus Chelsea, we thought we had them. Let's do better.
Yeah.
This is my approach,
Yeah.
And you lean on those experiences when you're building a project and when you believe in a project to get the team over the line.
Yeah. And it's actually
City
good.
winning, it's not a surprise. No one's surprised.
On the post game interviews, Jack Grealish, they like to interview him at BT Sport. He was like, the question was, guy, like, what has been the difference with the coaching? And he's like, the coach is very emotional. Like, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Like, the coach is very emotional and he's very good, but he's very like. But his first comment was like, the coach is very emotional.
Indeed.
So that guy coaches with his emotions out there because everything is on the line. And it reminds me of Urasi as well. He's also like that. But we'll come back to Urasi as well in a bit. What about your other team, your Barcelona and Spain? Because the reason I'm impacting on that is that we've got a lot of retirements and we've got a lot of shocking millionaires appearing overnight. People earning salaries. Like, you earn salary, American
Crazy
football
money.
team.
So with Barcelona, my team, our biggest blessing is Messi not coming back.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
He is the product of his own success, and the Messi name and reputation had gotten bigger than Barcelona.
Messi is done, and this will be my thumbnail picture. Messi is done.
Look,
For me, he was done. There was only to come back to
No.
Barcelona.
and I'm not gonna say no to that, but he's achieved what he came here to do.
He's won everything
Yeah, he has nothing more
to prove. He's trying to go
to
make
us.
money to retire.
And hence why I'm saying it's Barcelona's biggest blessing that he's not coming back. Because for the development of that team, you did not need to have this towering figure coming back.
Yeah.
Because it takes away the attention and the development.
Oh, for the young ones.
Yeah, for the young ones.
But it's like having Lever there though. Lewandowski's had 2 more years to go. He's done.
Indeed, but Lewandowski hasn't hit the highs of Messi.
You can't.
Lewandowski is not a towering figure at Barcelona. There is nothing that Lewandowski can tell Xavi.
Yeah.
Because Xavi has been to the pinnacle of
I
football.
imagine Messi's played with Xavi and won with him.
Yes,
And
and now coming back.
to coach, being coached by him. It's like,
You
it would
understand.
be weird.
Exactly.
It'd be weird,
and also the difference between those dynamics is when Xavi and Messi were playing, there was a time where Messi was the biggest star
Yeah.
than Xavi.
Of course, yeah.
Those dynamics would be different if Messi was coaching Xavi late in his career.
Yeah.
So as much as Messi has achieved and given his life and all to Barcelona, in return they've given him lifetime of memories and
Gold
platform
status.
to show his
Gold status.
talent. My only wish for him is at the end of his career, he comes back to Barcelona, signs a one-day contract, and has a big concert and farewell to football. And
That's
just
it.
leaves.
Yeah.
But I personally believe that him signing for MLS, into Miami, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, yeah. Beckham's team, yeah.
Yeah, it allows him to come back to Barca during off-season for the MLS.
Okay.
Thierry Henry came back
To Arsenal, yeah. I think, with him, plus for him, it's more of a business thing now. He is more or less.
Smart.
But this deal was structured by Beckham about when he first. I think Beckham bought the team in 2013.
Yeah.
So in 2015, he structured the deal, Kames, that when you're done, come in.
through.
Yeah, maybe he's got shares
Come
because the fact that he's played in the MLS, it actually opens up so Messi playing in the MLS this season, it opens up, so these global superstars, when they move to the MLS, one of the attractions which are given to them, because remember, the players in the MLS are owned by the league, not the teams per se. Yeah, is that in future, if there's any emerging franchise opportunity which might arise, you get first option to sign it, to own it.
Hence why
Like Beckham.
I was saying, with Messi's team played their moves and their cards so brilliantly.
Yeah.
You know, because the allure of the Saudi money is
Short
term.
term.
You know,
That one is lifetime.
Yeah, they could have given him that 1.3 billion. I think I saw in the news, right? And to any sound man, take the money. Take the money because that's what's guaranteed.
Yeah.
But investing in the MLS, knowing that World Cup 2026 is in the
USA.
Brand Messi has just bought itself an extra
Of course, that's an
15 years.
Yeah, it's a lifetime.
Relevance.
Plus, he can even buy his own team and be.
Indeed. Beckham has shown you the.
Yeah, it's like literally. I think you gave it to him like 3 or 4 years ago already.
Yeah, it's like, yo, let's do this. And you see how much Adidas has invested in Inter Miami.
Yeah.
How much Apple is invested in subscriptions. So
they've hooked him up.
Yeah,
they've hooked him up. His house is crazy. They saw his house on social media. They just do it. His house is crazy.
But also Miami is like also predominantly Spanish.
Yeah,
so
give or
it's
take.
not even a major cultural difference.
And it's an upgrade actually, because you know how America and they treat their sports people.
Yeah.
It's not like in Europe. There is a humongous, like, huge deal there. Like,
exactly. But also look at it from a family perspective, right? The cultural difference of living in Saudi versus the cultural difference of living in
Miami.
Yeah, the family can adapt to the
US easily.
lifestyle.
Yeah, and it's like top of the notch. It's a top of the notch.
But also distance to Argentina.
No, it's very, very short.
Close.
Very, very, very close.
Exactly.
Well, on my end, my team, Madrid, obviously, we're signing youngsters. I think we're rebuilding with pieces.
Oh, you guys are doing it well too.
Yeah, we signed Jude Bellingham from Dortmund.
Yeah, you guys are replacing your aging midfield.
Midfielders, yeah, we're replacing even the defense slowly but surely. Defense, I think the coach messed it up in that semi-final with Rudiger not starting and so on.
Yeah,
but
it's a bit of a
transitionary phase in world football, actually. Not even because all the superstars we knew now are actually retiring, including Zlatan.
The guys we grew up with.
Yeah,
man.
I heard Thierry Henry took one out on Lukaku for the final performance. Apparently, it was in his calm mentality there again. Lukaku was in the calm mentality.
Do you know? Lukaku.
For me, he's ass. First of all, let's just start. Lukaku's ass. he's a cow, that guy. I remember.
Lukaku's the unluckiest. No, he's the luckiest unlucky guy.
I remember a colleague of mine in 2012, I think. He's a Man U supporter like you. Yeah. I think Lukaku was there that time. I don't remember when he was there. He was like, yo, Langomu Lukaku, yeah.
John, and the reason why I say, ne, he's the luckiest unluckiest guy, ne, is when you look back at his career, this guy has been to the top clubs and has been
all of them
bought for ridiculous amounts of money and has made crazy money throughout his career, right? And he has very good seasons where you like,
wow.
This guy
first of all, I think Lukaku has a very good season when he loses weight. When he's fat like he is now.
But also, that's what I'm saying. It's really
he's going on a diet.
He can give you 30 goals a season, right?
If he's slim.
Yeah, 2 seasons. Then he gets sold.
Then
he goes and becomes dog.
No, he gives you 1 season and then he gets sold because it's crap.
Yeah.
Then it goes to a new team, gives them 1 season, then he gets sold because it's crap.
And that's the thing, right? When you even look at Belgium, right? His goals to matches ratio is so good. But when you need him to perform in big tournaments, right? He doesn't step up. And in the critical moments of the game,
the car returns.
Yeah, is always involved in a good way or a bad way.
Lukaku
But it's
returns.
more bad.
He's bad.
You know,
Guy's bad.
and it's so crazy where someone, I think if we were to just look at how much transfers he's had in terms of value, yeah,
God.
someone who's commanded those amounts versus his body of work in high stake games.
We bought him as well, almost for like, okay, Man U bought him for like
60.
and then he went to Inter.
Yeah.
Then Inter, he
Bought him for 90.
beast.
Yeah.
Then he went back to us, most Chelsea,
For
ne?
90.
Yeah, for 19. And he's like, I was like, okay, yeah, he's.
It made sense.
I was following him on the Inter season. Like, okay,
Yes.
God, like, Bucket's beasting, he's back.
No
No,
one was
lost weight.
questioning.
Oh, comes back fat.
You know
Comes
what I
back,
mean?
gain the weight.
It's,
Crap.
and I think no. I'll sum it up this way. Ne? His big match temperament is so off.
It's weak.
Yeah, it is
It's
so
weak.
off. Right? There was a comment I heard a few years ago about him. Is they call him a flat track bully, right? Whereby in a league, right, against your top six,
He's nowhere.
yeah, Lukaku will give you 1 goal, 2 goals, but against the bottom 15, he'll give you 25 goals. In a league perspective, that is who you want. But also, you can't be paying 90
Million
pounds
for that.
for someone who's going to
You
disappoint.
know, for me, another big disappointment, another three in the Champions League is Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba disappointed me, bro. I expected so much from him. From him, I thought it was going to be Man U,
Yeah.
Ballon d'Or.
So players like Pogba are only as good as the talent around him. And Man United wasted his time. We did not surround him with work.
Because you're supposed to make Paul Pogba the focus of the team.
Yes, but also remember the position that Paul Pogba plays. Yeah? He plays
The sixth.
Yeah, I make the people around me look good, right? A Paul Pogba kind of six, we need a fucking unselfish midfield.
Yeah.
Guys will put their body on the line and put the stats on the side. Me, I am working.
Because Paul Pogba can move forward. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He can move forward. He can play.
Yes.
For me, I thought like in the next 2 years, Ballon d'Or
But-
candidate.
But also, 2018 World Cup was a typical example of how great Paul Pogba can be when you surround him with the right talent. We don't remember the midfield at France 2018.
No, we don't. You
don't. But up front, he had...
No, it was N'Golo Kante.
Okay.
Was there N'Golo Kante?
What is it?
Griezmann.
No, but Griezmann is in front.
Yeah, he's a forward. He's
Yeah.
a ninth. SS.
Mbappe up front. Giroud up front,
Yeah.
right? But in the midfield, you have grafters who are grafting for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Guys who will do the dirty work. Once they get the ball, they give it back to him and say, make us look nice.
Yeah, Paul Pogba can move forward.
Yeah.
Defensive is bad, but
He's not the greatest.
But he can move. But
then-
when it comes to attack, I love him. I love that guy.
Exactly.
Another one I like.
Then you put him in a Man U team, and you get Solskjaer putting him as a defensive six, and you're asking Paul Pogba to do the dirty work.
No, I can't. It's not that.
You know what I mean?
He's a CM,
Exactly.
and a CM who does not defend well.
Yeah, but also who's in front of him?
Yeah.
Rashford was still young and maturing.
Mhm.
Lukaku wasn't the greatest.
Lukaku was a cow, as usual.
But the talent that surrounded Paul Pogba, Joe, wasn't that wow at United.
Yeah.
You know,
At Juve, he had like Pirlos and the other hard workers.
world-class talent.
Yeah.
World-class talent, you know. And this is why it's also important, you know, I think Messi and Ronaldo messed up football and how we see it because they've taken the superstar expectation into the stratosphere.
Yeah, obviously.
Right? Everyone else is below. Players like Pogba need talent around them, but because you bought him for 89 million,
Yeah.
you're expecting Pogba.
Lot. That was a lot.
Yeah, you're expecting Pogba to score you 20 goals and have 20 assists. But that's not his game.
But I still have hope for him because I felt like Pogba we would have bought him at Madrid if he was in top two. I love the guy. Like he's a very good. For me, he's a good player, and
Talented,
I feel like
talented.
Paul Pogba just Because now he's just injury prone a lot now.
If he can stay fit,
stay fit,
he
and
can
then
make he can make a difference.
he can make. I think eventually, I don't know with him. I've lost hope. I thought he was gonna mature to be a beast.
But going back to Italy was a very good decision. He's
Yeah.
slow and he's physical.
It's fine for him, but he's just been injured a lot more.
Indeed. Hopefully he'll have a good off season and come back stronger.
Yes.
But I've still got faith in the talent, Joe.
We'll see.
And there are also players who play in that position. Speed and physical attributes really don't matter.
They don't. The brain, the way
the brain is
for me, he got it all. He can shoot the ball, he can pass, he can shoot.
Yes.
For like Patrick Vieira and him, if they're both fit and fine, they play the same similar type of game. They played similar type of game.
Indeed.
Yeah.
What was mostly silky.
Yeah. That's silky, but he's I wish I want to see him in the white of Madrid. Let me be honest.
He'll do well at Juve.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking it's Juve.
Madrid.
Arab money.
Oh, Arab money! Wow, Arab money is here to take over. Eh?
Yeah.
It's a lot, though. I mean, $1 billion, close to $1 billion in 3 years. I mean,
listen, it's a very good time to be a professional.
That's a lot of money. N'Golo Kante is there. Riyad Mahrez is there.
Listen.
Not yet signed, but 100 million for Riyad Mahrez.
Take the money, boys.
Riyad Mahrez is not making 10 million at Man City. He's not making 10 million a year.
Take the money.
That money is reserved for 10 million. Is reserved for the De Bruynes and stuff. So and he's a bencher now. So he 100 million. He's done. N'Golo Kante is already. I think he's done. He's signed. Benzema is on close to 300 mil. Ronaldo. So many of them are flocking there now. And that actually reminds me of people flocking. The golf. The Tiger Woods letting go of close to $800 million, not signing with Live Golf, and then Live Golf to PGA selling the golf to them again. That's a boss move from Live Golf.
But it's the age-old, saying of never trust corporate.
The money.
Take the money.
Take the money.
You can't be loyal to corporate.
You're loyal to bullshit.
Like for what? Because they'll always speak about legacy, morals.
Jesus. Phil Mickelson must be laughing like crazy, bruh.
All the Live golfers are sitting back saying, "Look at you now."
And remember,
taking the money.
With the Saudis, the money is upfront.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have to wait for a certain day.
No.
They pay you upfront and then you go play.
Take the money, Joe.
Jesus Christ, what a blunder, bruh. Rory McIlroy, they fucked up, bruh.
Hard.
Tiger Woods, 800 mil, bruh, guaranteed.
But also, Tiger Woods, I don't feel sorry for because he's set for life, right?
With a Nike deal?
No, just in golf.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right? He's going to be seeing money for his grandkids and grandkids and grandkids.
Yeah.
Right? He is the anomaly in the sport.
Yeah.
With or without Live Golf. Because in reality, his day-to-day life, how much of a difference would 800 mil make?
It doesn't need the money.
Exactly, right? Hence why I'm saying I don't feel sorry for him.
Mm.
Rory, does he really need the 500 mil? Would it really have made a difference?
It's a nice to have, though.
Yeah, it's a nice to have.
It's a nice to have.
Right? But it's not life-changing money for Rory because in his day-to-day, he still has a private jet, still has all the millions in a very comfortable life.
Okay.
Right? Bar those two guys.
But Phil Mickelson took it.
Yeah, no. But in terms of guys who did not cross over, the PGA's two biggest stars was Tiger and Rory.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? So they can turn down Live money and still live the same life.
Okay.
Everyone else, that Live check makes a difference.
Jesus.
There's an article I read that Hideki was offered 300 mil. He turned it down. Will Zalatoris was offered 150 mil. He turned it down to be loyal to the PGA.
And look what that got him. Do you realize $100 million in your bank account up front?
My boy.
Up front.
My boy.
So.
All the South Africans who took those checks, I was like, you go, boys.
They took, the guys South Africans took, no? Like
your
Horsens and them.
Yeah, it was Brandon Grace, Louis Oosthuizen, Dean Burmester, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
The only two guys who didn't take the live money, which I understood was, I think, Gerrit Hugo and Christian Bezuidenhout, right? Because they were still making their name on the PGA.
Yeah.
The other guys who took the
Already
live money
there, yeah.
had been on the tour for 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
So they had made money and had played in the majors and all that. So I understood why
they didn't take it.
Yeah, they didn't take
Still money though.
Man.
It's lifetime money. It's lifetime money.
And
That's crazy
time,
money.
That time, right, the South Africans on the Live Golf Tour won 2 tournaments, which I think were taking home about 4 million.
Damn. Imagine, bruh. And the nice thing is they don't...
the exchange rate.
Remember those guys? No, it's not even about that. The tax, because they don't pass the residence test.
Yeah.
So if you're out of the country for a number of days in a year, you're ineligible to be taxed in the country.
Yeah.
So it's like the non-residence test, like a black coffee.
Yeah.
He passes them because he's not here. That's why I was actually investigating it. Most of the time he's not here, so he's no longer qualifying to be taxed in South Africa because of the non-residence test. He's not here most of the time. So he doesn't stay here, basically. Black coffee stays in New York.
So the Live golfers took the money, and I'll say this to anyone who deals with corporates, guys. Whenever you have the opportunity to take the money.
Seriously, it's actually a good point. Talking about corporates, please come through to give us the money. Please come through to ask to support your brands. The specific brands we're targeting to be affiliated with. But if you don't come through, if you want to come through, obviously we'll assess. We don't take every other brand. We look at what you want to do, but it's the weekend guy. If you want to email us, just leave a comment on the video below. We'll get back in touch with you.
Proudly South African products too.
Proudly South African products. We're happy to push, obviously, any brand which comes to us. But otherwise, it's the Weekend Guy on YouTube. It's the Weekend Guy. Just search Weekend Guy. You'll find us on Instagram. You'll find us under E&M Group Media. On TikTok, it's E&M Group Media Social or something. But you'll find us. The links will be on the comments below, down below in the description. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Support us. Give us a like, comment. Give us all these things. We want those things to help us grow the channel, to help the channel make it better. Any youngsters looking to get some corporate experience in terms of what we do here at the Weekend Guy podcast, just drop us a like or comment on below. And then talk about the big sport, the big news we got today that Nike is now finally on board. Our boys are rocking it.
Yep, I saw the images.
They look good. They look good, actually. It's actually nice. Perfect timing. It's actually refreshing. Definitely. But going to the team, though, which was selected, there's some controversy. I don't know if you've seen that. There's some controversy around that. Okay. Not necessarily controversy. There was a South African player who plays for Munster.
Isn't he Irish?
He's South African. He's from the Stormers. The Irish took him from us. The normal thing they do.
Oh, them all the young.
Yeah, and then camped them from. They took him from Stormers to Munster. Then obviously he got out of the Springbok system.
Okay.
But he was the junior teams, the Springboks, obviously.
Okay, so he's used to our systems.
Yeah, but old school. Then they selected him. He became a citizen for Ireland. Like 5 years staying there. So took him from young. Was I think like 18, 19.
Okay.
So 23, he's blooded as an Irish. So he's not Irish. He's a South African. But this thing of taking our players, poaching our players.
Okay.
Then now what Urasi goes and does. So they didn't pick him. So he played the 2019 World Cup for Ireland, which they flopped, if you still remember. Okay. So the coach has not been favouring him, picking him, but he's been playing very, very well for Munster in this URC. He's playing very, very well with Archie and the other guys. So he kind of had a very, very, very good URC season.
Okay.
Rasi being Urasi. I said, okay. They're going to pick him. They waited before they announced our team. Oh, Ireland has picked his training squad. We want that guy. They took that guy.
Isn't there some sort of application they need to
They done, yeah. But remember, it was approved this thing was approved in 2021 or something, that a player who hasn't played for their country for 3 years
is eligible
to leave, can play another country. Yeah. So if you've not been picked for 3 years, you can go play it for another country.
Okay.
And now I think that boy is at his peak now. Like he's at his peak, peak of his powers.
For them to take such a risk, they might have, or they should have done their due diligence and gone on.
Yeah, with Urasi, you know, Kalo.
I believe it's a calculated decision.
People should know that Urasi Rasmas is the Pep Guardiola of rugby.
Yeah, and look, I'm interested to see the development of the story. I'll make a comment once he's clear to play for SA.
Yeah, it's gonna be oppose as much as he want, the matches they want. I need to didn't pick him. Ireland can oppose as much as they want, but the fact of the matter, the rule says if you don't pick a player for 3 years, they can switch allegiance. And he is not like switching allegiance to Ireland from South Africa. He's switching from Ireland back to his home country. So
which is fine as long as you can add value. And
no, he's actually covering us in the whole lock debacle because remember, Arge can go down anytime.
Yeah.
Eben is
my only
injured.
reservation though, with the Springboks right now, is we are going for the tried and tested over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
If I can, based on what I saw on the training squad.
Yeah.
I'll put a figure. It's 70% of last year's or last World Cup's team.
85.
And 90% of the last year's SA or rugby championship team.
Yeah.
And for me, I've always just been against, right? Almost guaranteeing people their
places.
Positions. Yeah, their places, because I think of guys who had a standout URC.
Like who?
No, I'm just hypothetically speaking.
But they've been rewarded, those ones.
Yeah. But so, for example, right, we've got Manny Libok.
He's there.
Andre, as well as Damien Phillips. As
Andre Estesen is there. Pollard is there.
Yeah, right.
Damien.
But what else? Okay. I'm actually making cases for guys like Fasi Cohen Bosch has been. Wait. Has been better, right?
What?
Has been better
than who?
Than what he previously was, right?
But better than who? That's the thing.
Okay, not better than, maybe that's a very bad example.
How could Bosch is a very bad example.
But who's our boy who's playing at La Rochelle?
Unantsika, there's two of them, Dylan Lates and Unantsika, the guy from Free State and Sharks.
Yes.
I just forget his name. Raymond Rule.
Yes, for example, right? Raymond Rule has.
Remember the problem with Raymond Rule that they're only playing the top 14 final this weekend, I think.
Yeah, but he wasn't put in the training squad.
They won't put any of them. And honestly, I'm a little bit. Yeah. No. I feel like Raymond Rule, man. I feel like the Springboks coaching, man. They don't, because remember, Springbok tactic is the running game, those high balls. When they balls. So I feel like maybe they feel like he's too big, he's too bulky to be able to generate the speed, because you see, the other wingers are very...
Kenan Moody and small.
They're
right?
very small.
And this is what I'm just trying to put out there, right? Is guys like Raymond Rule have gone out and reinvented themselves.
They've played a certain tactic, the La Rochelle tactic. It's a mix of the Springboks and French, or it's a mix of the Springbok way of playing and the Irish way of playing, the forward play. But they don't kick one. They don't do the kicking game like us. They don't do the up and unders. Yeah, they play passing it with like the flaking. There's the Irish with the balls with the.
Okay, so the point what I'm trying to put across is, last year they won the top 14, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. They're in the final.
They've been in the system. If they wanted them, really, they should have put in last year already.
But hence why I'm saying, Uti, we are going back to our tried and tested, right? Yeah. But also not, and this is what I'm not a fan of, right? That we are not opening the
door for the next guys.
Yes, right? Just because you came into the system when you were very hot, because you understand the system, I'm going to reward you regardless of your form. Right?
I feel like,
and someone like Raymond Rule, I think, compared to the roster of wingers we've got, he could bring something.
Obviously, it's a different kind of game.
Him in, take a look at him at the least.
For me, you're actually right, Sihle, and I always say this, that you need to give kudos where kudos is due.
Oh,
The guy's a European champion 2 times in a row.
yeah.
Both him and Dylan Lates
And playing in France.
in France, you know what I'm saying?
Bring him and have a look at him.
Yeah.
If he's not fitting in with your system, then it's fine. But at least the conversation was had up close and you saw what
Can do, yeah. Can he catch the high ball? Because he's not really playing the high ball. Another disadvantage with him is that, and this is what you want to do as a coach, is that you want I feel like Raymond Rule and them should have been put in last year.
Yes.
When the others were coming in, because even last year was still good enough.
Yes, indeed.
So it should have had, and this is what I always tell people: if the person was not there last year, they're not going to make the World Cup.
No,
Mm.
definitely.
Mm.
Because I realize that, look, you've got a system and you've got a way of playing, right? And you need guys who've bought into the system. And understand.
System requires discipline.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. And for me, right, I do not see how South African rugby or the Springboks have evolved from 2019 to 2023 in terms of our approach and personnel.
That's the beauty of having Urasi Erasmus. That's the beauty of having him as a coach and the entire coaching staff. The mentality of how they think, those guys, is, okay, we want you to think we're going to play this way.
Okay.
Do you understand? No, it's fine. We're going to play this way. We play this way.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Beat us at our game.
Yeah, that's always it. But for them, they've got the luxury of switching it up again. For example, you kick, we catch, we don't kick back, we run. Do you understand? So now we become unpredictable, and that's what they want. So even with New Zealand, we kick, they kick us back. We catch, we run. Do you understand? So we can play dynamic. So our game is very, 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 very dynamic now. So we don't know now. So that's what they want going into a World Cup here. You need to have that teams, they will plan for you to play in this game, but your team is so adaptive that they can play a different kind of game.
Okay.
Yeah.
But also then the legacy of this World Cup. I'm gonna put it out there. I believe we can go back to back, right? And I'm back.
My man, yes, 2 times,
I
and
believe
still.
Yes.
I've got a series on YouTube on the Inham Group Media channel. It's called And Still. So the aim of the series is to build up to them defending the title, but it starts from previous champions who've done it.
Yes.
So I think we've done Phelps, we've done who else? I'm not sure who we've done, but we've done quite a number. Check out the YouTube channel. You see that. I'll leave the link down below.
So I believe we'll go back to back. Right?
And still.
Yeah. And still. My only concern though is the legacy left for the guys
after we reboot. It's a reboot.
Yeah, but how many guys would have had that World Cup experience? Because in the 32 that we're gonna take to the World Cup, I'm 100% sure less than 10 would have had previous World Cup experience going to.
Oh, remember Urasi is taking over again after 2020, after this World Cup, after Jacques leaves. Urasi is taking over again to be coach.
You rate they won't go Dobo or...
No, he's already, that's confirmed already.
Really?
Yeah, everybody signed contracts. No, it's signed. The entire assistant coach team is signed, and then Urasi is going to take over again as the head coach, back to head coach now. And then same guys are kept on. Stick is there as it is.
I feel bad for Dobo.
No, Dobo must work on Western Province. Western Province still under administration. Let's work on Dobo. Not for now.
Post 2027.
Yeah, I feel like the Storm has folded in that final.
Yeah, no.
And the Dobo has still got something to control than Cape Town. Ashiva Taimani are still being Dennis Rodmans in the changing room. I still have to work on that. Urasi is fine for the continuity of the way we play. Do you understand? Shout out to Ashwin, by the way. Not saying that, but it's a bit of a... Remember, converting that to the Springbok changing room, that's difficult to do. You'll never do that. You'll never be a Springbok looking like that. Ask Luka and he's talented enough to be the next Sia Collins, but with that thing he has is still in that Sihle Thomas era when he's still drinking beer and stuff like that. He gobbles Castle Light on Insta every day.
Man, guys, you see.
You see, this is what you and this is what.
Good time, money. We'll chat about him in another episode.
In another episode, yeah.
I'm a defend the shit out of him.
Yeah.
He plays with character and
we don't mind character.
personality.
No. There's a character, and then there's international rugby. Two different things. Do you understand?
We'll go into it.
Yeah.
We'll go into it.
There's local rugby and international rugby. That's why I say you find them playing the way, but people don't understand is that there's a thin line between losing a semi-final game and winning it at the World Cup.
But my Instagram post won't do anything about that.
And for you to be able to pass that line, the mentality is called, we called it earlier, the big game mentality.
No doubt.
You grow into that. You don't just become that. And the big game mentality does not require any recognizable individual, because rugby is not an individual sport.
Yes, but if someone can fall in line, right, when it's time to be professional and work, right, that is one thing. But you don't expect me then to fall in line the moment I...
No, you can knock off. We don't care about that. Sihle. That's what I didn't understand, man.
But I think he's being judged by what he...
Because that's what it's going to come up. Because remember, in rugby, you can ask them, all of them, they'll tell you the story. You can even read Sihle book. And what Utaman is doing has been done before. Rassie Erasmus even said that don't let the fame and superstardom get to your head. This is post-World Cup, not during World Cup. This is after they've won the World Cup. Guys, you've won the World Cup. You're world champions.
This needs a 30-minute...
Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Even, this was in the Rassie Erasmus documentary. Yeah. He even said to them, guys, I was a superstar. Where Hashiva is right now, Rassie Erasmus was there. Do you understand? He said to the players, guys, don't let this thing get to your head. Because this thing, once it gets to your head, you are gone. You're not going to make it. Mentality could never be a Springbok. Hashiva, URC, one URC win got to his head. He became a Dennis Rodman just for winning the URC.
We'll get to him. Can
you understand? But so for me, looking at it, I don't see a future, but we'll see. So with the Springboks, I think I saw on Insta, Usia, his knee is still a little bit swollen, so it's not yet ready. I don't think he's going to play the...
SA Rugby, regarding man management, I think is second to none.
Yeah, they're the best,
right? So I believe that we'll see Sia
at the World Cup, not during the Rugby Championship.
Yeah, they'll do everything in their part to make sure he's there. So I'm not worried about him. Yeah. The only issue or challenge he might face is
it's game time.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of match fitness and game time, do you see that Johnny Sexton might get a 10-week ban for that thing he did at the European Cup final? I've always said to people that Johnny Sexton is an asshole, like literally. So sorry to put it like that, but
look, I think in the rugby circles, it's known.
No, Johnny Sexton, I observed him not even this year's URC, last year's URC.
Okay.
When the Bulls are playing Leinster at Leinster for that semi-final. So Leinster is losing, not getting their own way. Hey, the guy starts. That's when I first actually saw his attitude. His attitude is rotten. He starts sorting at the referees and.
Do you think it's been enabled?
Yeah, it's been enabled there at Ireland because he's their global superstar. But in the global arena, it's gonna fail big time. And it's at a level where they need to make an example of him. Because we cannot.
10 weeks is an example.
Yeah, it changed the game. Like, rugby is played to a certain standard because of the young kids watching.
Yes.
The examples, because there are many young rugby players already playing the game at 13, 12. Yeah. The example he's setting as a professional is very, very wrong. For me, it was very wrong on the first time I saw it when the Bulls were playing Leinster in Leinster, the way he behaved.
If someone then has a rebuttal and says, I'm just passionate about it.
Yeah, but the game is the game. You respect the game first. The game comes first. what is it called? The game of what code of conduct
Yes.
for those who abide by as a professional.
Yeah.
So that code of conduct always comes first. It's like when the blood is a Springbok, you read an oath.
Mm.
That oath will always become first
Indeed.
before you as an individual. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That now I get this cap, I swear to do this and this and this and this.
Mm.
Because of the impact and the example you're having of the people coming,
You're not just representing your own interests. it's
representing
the
a
nation's.
country. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's good. They must ban him, make an example of him so that he doesn't take the same crap to the World Cup again. He knows his place. Do you understand? He's a player, he's an employee at the end of the day. He's not the game.
Look, I'll judge him by his conduct after the ban.
He's going to come back proper there.
Is he appealing?
No, there's no appealing. When the European governing body rules, you're done. There's no appeal process.
Okay.
Yeah, it's their way or the highway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
I'll judge him after the ban.
Yeah.
If there's a difference in approaching.
Speaking of bans, by the way, for your team, the Sharks, Apiwa Gyangi is almost at the ready. At 29 years old, have not played since 25 years old. He's coming back at 29. Apiwa Gyangi is coming back to the Sharks.
Look, this is where I think nutrition, technology, and the advancements we've had, because in a different era, he would have been.
Yeah, it reminds me of Chili Boy.
Exactly.
Hey, Chili Boy fucked it up though.
So coming back at 29, he can give you a good 6 seasons. You know, I've got high hopes that he's learned his lesson.
You fucked up.
Yeah, no doubt.
There's that scale. You fuck up and you find out. You know the scale.
And he found out.
He's like a 9 there. Like
Yeah.
went on a 9 on the fuck up
And
scale.
he found out. You know, whether it was trusting the wrong people
Don't know
or
what the hell.
knowingly, trying to recover quicker.
I
than
don't know
the
what
time
the hell
frame.
is going on with them.
Yeah, it's not my place to
know.
judge.
Yeah.
But yeah, he served his time, and
Just
I
don't do it again.
Yeah, but also players like him in his position, that explosiveness, made
But he was
you
still at
a
his
world
peak,
beater. Yeah,
though.
made you a world beater. Does he still have it though?
At 29. Have not played for 4 years.
Listen,
No.
this is why the verdict is out for the Sharks to say, look, we are gonna put our brand and our union behind you. They must have seen something behind closed doors.
But one thing I know about dopers, and it's a bad example I'm going to put out, Chili
Yeah.
Boy Rapele, former Sharks player, is that old
Springbok
habits die
too.
hard. Yeah, old habits die hard. Like, you might find him doing the shit again. I don't know what's up with the juice and him. But anyway.
So my past conversations with former professionals, it's not always to get better. It is always to speed up the recovery process.
Mhm.
That has always been the case where it is so enticing for them
To
right?
take
Yeah.
doping.
So
And others have done it and been successful at it. That's the thing.
but also right. I think more often than not, professional athletes back their talent.
Mm.
Right? Where it gets dim and dark, and as well as dangerous, is when you're injured away from the spotlight
Yeah.
and you're craving to get back to your former glory.
Mm.
And you've been doing the rehab and you've been putting those hours in the gym alone,
Mm.
but the progress is not coming quick enough.
Yeah, like Liwika, Franz Stein, it's an
Also-
injury. Apparently, he's not even started rehab, so he's not going to make the World Cup.
Yeah, but also, Abu Franz Stein shouldn't be in the conversation. For
Anyway,
this World Cup.
yeah, he's done.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
He was an 18-year-old superstar. Come, guys, we can't be looking at him as
No, he's
36-year-old.
It's done. Elton Yankees as well, the womanizer. It's done.
Look, I feel sorry for Elton. He's a victim of his
Environment.
environment, but also his decisions. The fact that
Mara,
he's
to make
being
on the
questioned.
physio though, like
no. But the
the
fact
it's a colleague, most
Yeah,
basically.
but John, the fact that he got himself in that position that he could be a suspect of that
Yeah.
is so unfortunate.
And it did happen. I mean, for people to even be talking about it, it's obvious.
Look, who am I to judge, right? But for me, is always avoid the situations.
Yeah, you're a professional.
Yeah.
You're paid to be a professional.
Avoid the situation.
Avoid for your career.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But it's unfortunate given the fact that we live in South Africa, and I'll put it out straight like this.
Mm.
we are judged by our skin color. People are given grace, right? Based on their skin color.
Yeah.
And Elton should have never put himself in that.
And Paduras
position.
did mention this to Elton and them, that guys, don't let this thing get to your head.
Yeah, but avoid the situation. Then this conversation then becomes irrelevant.
Yeah.
You know? And other people would have been given a chance or would have been given a free pass.
Unfortunately, Elton, with him, is post-recovery from this. He plays in an unknown league anyway. Second division in France. Yeah. Nobody sees him. So, and there's Mani Libok coming through, playing in a top-tier league.
Avoid the situation, because had he avoided the situation, right, by the time his contract comes to an end, one of the unions in South Africa
would have taken him, of course.
Easily.
He's a very good player. But
the talent is there. But
the problem is the discipline.
Yeah, more often than not. There's a GM out there who's like, the drama's outweighs
just
the
too
talent.
much. Yeah.
I'd rather groom my own.
Yeah.
Right, at a fraction of the price. But back to Uyangi, I just hope that he takes the second chance.
Stay off the juice. That's all we want. Just stay off the juice. No need for the juice.
I don't think we were going to have a situation with the juice. Everyone is now going to see, does he still have it like that?
Yeah. You still got it. Just stay off the juice.
So what?
He's young man, 29, still young.
Yeah.
Young man, stay off the juice.
The fact that the Sharks have put their name behind him means they've seen something.
Yeah, that's good. Stay off the juice.
Yeah.
You won't make it.
Look,
we're rooting for him. We're rooting for you.
The redemption tour is only starting.
Yeah.
So he just needs to prove us. Right.
27 World Cup, 4 more years, 33? He'll be pushing it though.
Yeah,
pushing it.
Look, the evolution. At 33, he can move into the center roles. Maybe reinvent himself.
Too small.
Reinvent
to play our game.
Suit him.
It's too small. I wonder what the Nike kit's gonna look like. I think I'll be first in line. I think when Nike launches it, I'll be sleeping over at the mall. With my what is called a camping bag, and I'll be there. Nike, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there outside.
Or Nike, if you guys want to send us some packages.
Yeah. Up front, just to give us something so that we don't have to stand in queue and so on. But otherwise, I'll be.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Definitely, for it.
Man. Past Nike Springbok collaborations
have been nice.
Brilliant.
Although they were heavy, but they were nice.
Yeah. But
it's a modern era, so
yes, the technology, the jerseys and the kits. I'm interested, and I'd like Nike South Africa to be more present in terms of what they've done differently this time, and their approach to sponsoring the Springboks, and how they plan on getting out the world champions.
Of course.
So I'm looking forward to the media.
If no one reaches out, don't worry, I'll be there camping out at the nearest Nike shop. My tent will be there, waiting for the launch of the jersey. But I think then what's left is it's a race weekend.
Yes.
For us F1 enthusiasts. Race weekend.
Oof, I'm looking forward to it.
I feel like we have a chance. Finally, I can, for the first time this season, I can finally say that I feel like we have a chance, a fighting chance, not against Red Bull.
For our viewers, who is we?
Mercedes-Benz, Lewis Hamilton. Okay. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, obviously. I'm a Merc fan. Yeah.
So I feel like for
Ferrari, oh God, there's a disaster there. I don't know what the hell's going on.
No, let's talk about Mercedes.
But apparently you guys won Le Mans this weekend.
Yeah.
For the first time back, and you take the trophy.
The brand is doing well.
Yeah, the brand is doing well.
We are the classic case of take 2 steps forward, 5 steps back in
what
F1.
The hell is going on with those guys?
I think no. I actually even know what is going wrong. Ferrari as a business have got it fundamentally wrong, whereby Ferrari CEO is involved in Ferrari F1 business.
Okay.
And what Mercedes, Red Bull have done very well, you separate the main business to the F1 business.
Yes.
Everyone needs to run independently. And up until Ferrari makes that decision for the F1 team to run independently, we are not going to see success.
Apparently there's like within the team, there's like infighting, there's like factions, like with the old generation. I was doing this, and then
it boils down from Ferrari management
and the West Triangle
having their favorites and Imbimbi Sabo in the
in the
F1
F1
team.
team. Oh,
So people are loyal to Ferrari, the group, but not necessarily the
Loyal to
management
the F1.
to F1
because the
Ferrari.
blunders they're making,
Schoolboy
doesn't make sense. Schoolboy errors, yeah.
You know? Yeah, because I, as a Ferrari F1 individual, does not necessarily report to the team principal.
Yeah.
Or the team principal can't say, I am fired. He has to ask someone to fire me.
CEO, yeah. So
You know
that's
what I
the
mean?
problem.
Exactly. So accountability for one is then doesn't stop with Fred for sir. And it makes his job so much harder. Whoever you put in there. It's not gonna work. Yeah, because you know, for example, in Mercedes F1, what Toto says goes.
Because he's the owner, he's a shareholder.
But no, Dalman Chrysler does not tell Toto how to do his job.
They don't.
You know? Exactly. So you separate the two.
Yeah, obviously.
And up until Ferrari makes that fundamental decision, I do not see us winning.
It's a disaster.
Yeah, it is. And for such an iconic brand, it is so sad to see.
It's actually an embarrassment.
Yeah, and also for Ferrari, I mean, for F1's relevance and prominence, you need Ferrari to be competitive.
Yeah, obviously.
You know, it's such an iconic brand.
And they've always been there.
Yeah, but and
Founding
they linked.
teams.
Yeah, they linked to F1.
Yeah.
You know, that red, the Tifosi, its history and culture. You just need them to be good. They may not win everything, but if they're competitive, the sport is relevant.
Yeah.
But it's more internal than what F1 regulations are doing.
And on a positive note, the black car is doing very well. We are on an upward trajectory. I feel like second half of the season, the only limiting factor would be our suspension, because we had hoped and we can't change that. I feel like at some point we'll be challenging Red Bull. At some point.
I think maybe not this season. It's a foregone conclusion.
Obviously, yeah, but they're going to win it. But at least they're not going to do it 23-0, win all the races.
Are you sure, guys?
I'm sure. One race we're going to take it. Merck is going to come through. The 23-0 nonsense.
So, I'd like to disagree.
You say you're putting Red Bull going 23-0.
23-0. I'm calling it right now.
Wow.
I'm calling it right now, right? And my motivation.
You heard it. YouTube. Sihle is calling Red Bull to win all the races this season.
Everything.
23-0, bro.
23-0, my boy.
Damn.
If teams couldn't do it in the street circuits, it's late for us in the traditional circuits.
Okay. But there's Vegas, so it's a new circuit. They don't know that one.
Trust. The longer the season goes, the more Red Bull understands their car, right? Our biggest chance was the beginning of the season, the first quarter of the season, when Red Bull was trying to understand the car. We're hoping for mechanical failures. And
later on the season. Later on, because
they would have understood and the car would have evolved. I do not see a weakness in both of those.
For me, it feels like Red Bull don't have a budget cap. At this current stage, it feels like they don't have a budget cap. They're operating at another sphere never seen before in F1.
But
we in the history of F1, me and you cannot sit down here today and talk about the 23-0 season for one car. That's impossible in F1.
I'm calling it. I am calling it. And this is where the punishment in F1 is flawed, right? Because on the succession structure of wind tunnel time, Red Bull had already had the least time.
Amount of time.
Yes,
plus the penalty.
Plus the penalty. And then they rock up first three races of the season, and they're blowing everyone out the water. Was that punishment sufficient?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. They
It
cheated.
wasn't. Right? And we're then locked in these regulations for 4 or 5 seasons. And the difference now between these regulations and in the past, Ferrari, Mercedes could have blew millions and millions to try and catch up and probably pass them, right? Before the budget cap era.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But now, because of the budget cap, the gains that you guys are going to make are so limited. And look, I do not have proof of this, but the fact that Red Bull has a sister team.
Yeah, in the same
in F1.
In F1, yeah. It doesn't make sense.
What are the chances that data isn't being shared?
Of course it's being shared. Come on,
This
it's the same.
is speculation, by the way. But the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
You guys have the least wind tunnel time. You guys had a penalty, and you guys are still ahead.
So they're taking time from Alpha Tauri's time.
Yeah, but also then again, right? F1 is full of the best and most talented
Engineers.
technical and driving brains, engineering brains in the world. And you telling me Red Bull's brains are that amazing that everyone else cannot catch up?
No. They're using Alpha Tauri. They have to. I didn't think of that actually. That's actually quite true. They're using Alpha Tauri's time in the wind tunnel and stuff, development wise.
And a typical
Hence, they
example,
shouldn't be allowed to have 2 teams in the same.
exactly, right? Because Honda's engine could not have been that far ahead of all the cars that anyone cannot catch up. I understand, right? We go through different phases in Formula One history where one engine manufacturer is so dominant and everyone needs to play catch up. Went through that with Schumacher and Ferrari.
Yeah.
Right? Went through that.
But it
with
was never
Red Bull.
23-0 season. It was never.
It is going to be.
There's never been a wipeout.
But, right, who has threatened Red Bull for a race win this season?
No.
Nobody. Everyone is fighting for second place. Right? It's a foregone conclusion that this drivers' championship is between Max and Sergio.
Himself. No.
No.
Sergio's out.
Look, we had hoped Sergio, but it's a long season. But the only person who has the opportunity to challenge Max is Sergio.
Yeah, but still not on regular circuits, on street circuits only.
Yeah, no doubt. He's dropped the ball the last 3 races, right? But we're hoping that his luck improves also and he qualifies and performs better. But the conversation is all about Red Bull versus Red Bull. Oh, Merc is making strides. Oh, Alpha Tauri is making strides. Or Alpine is making strides. Aston Martin is the surprise of the season. They are making strides.
And did you hear that Aston Martin is blowing $1.5 million a day?
But listen, they must spend that money, but it is all for what? Second place. There is no conversation that, oh, Max was under pressure and he had to fight for that win. Or Sergio was under pressure and they had
It's
to
like
fight
the car
for that
still got a lot to give.
Exactly.
On the last lap of the race, like the car, it
Those
saves
guys are
tires.
cruising.
It does not chow tires.
Yeah.
It does not lose time. It's like it's got another 30 seconds ahead on the last laps. Come on, it's unreal.
And
It's unreal.
it's so unfortunate that this is happening at a time where the interest in F1 is at an all-time high, right? Because on one side, it is brilliant for Red Bull and their sponsors. They're getting the exposure and fans for life, right? But for the greater good of the game,
It's bad.
of the sport, it's bad because every week we are now
The same
predicting who is coming second.
I actually didn't watch last week's GP. I just caught the highlights.
Yeah,
It was so
but
obvious.
between you, what was gonna happen, right?
I knew that.
Yeah.
From the qualifying,
it's Max versus everybody.
Yeah. No, Max versus himself. Not everybody.
Yeah, but
Everybody else is not there.
True.
It's Max versus himself.
We are approaching race weeks with the hope that I hope Red
there's
Bull has a mechanical failure.
No, there's no hope. Like for me, I'm just approaching it. Like there is no way we're gonna get close to them speed wise. I don't know how they generate 12 additional seconds in the thing in the what's it called when the wing is open.
Yeah, in the DRS.
DRS, I don't know how they generate that much time.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. Max can overtake you from few meters behind and just wipes you off.
Like getting no thing. And then when you put him under DRS pressure, his car still quick
Pulls
enough.
away, yeah, when you're in DRS, but he can pull away from you without him having DRS.
And hence why, right, I'm saying it's going to be a 23-0 season. The regulations were created to make it more competitive, but Red Bull has unlocked potential and loopholes and have created a beast of a car that we're about to witness history, guys. I am calling it now. If it's not Max winning every other single race, Sergio's gonna have the same. 23-0. I am calling it now that these regulations
a 23-0 season in
that's all
F1.
they were.
In the whole history of F1, that has never occurred.
Yeah. We are so hopeful and so happy that Merck has caught up, or Merck came second. We're so happy that Alonso is on the podium. We're so disappointed that Ferrari has just dropped back.
They're like running 12th and 13th now.
Exactly.
They're down
But
there.
we haven't had a race where
Someone's close to Max.
exactly
With
all
Red
Red
Bull.
Bull, all Red Bull, all
Entire
Red Bull.
season. How many races are we in? What, sixth?
Yeah,
Sixth race, was it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And we've had street circuits, we've had traditional
Traditional
circuits.
circuits. So there's no hope.
Look, people are bringing upgrades, changing concepts,
Still nothing.
trying to catch up.
30 seconds behind already.
Yeah, the conversations within the F1 fraternity is, oh, we're changing concepts because the positive and the results will yield in the long run. So
Yeah,
it's
but the long
almost
run
like-
comes,
Yeah,
takes forever to come. Yeah, long run.
remember, these regulations are locked in until 2026. This
Yeah.
is when the new regulations are coming. So we've got another 2 seasons of these. So everyone is now planning for 2024, 2025.
Yeah, but still, we're screwed.
Yeah.
Red Bull is also planning for that.
Yeah, but also what's so brilliant and smart about Red Bull is they know that they cannot dominate or win races too far because they'll force the FIA to change the regulations soon. So what you are finding with Max and Sergio is they pull out that 30-second lead and use the next 10 laps and
Coasting. They coast.
so that at the end of the race they've just won by 15 seconds.
I know, bruh. That's so fucked up. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It's so fucked up.
Because
Yeah.
They show you how far we can beat you.
And then they stay, and then they coast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because how do you explain why Max can go 52 laps on mediums?
How, bruh? How?
Yeah.
This is what's baffling me, bruh.
Look, historically, Max hasn't been the greatest at looking after
His tires.
right?
His tires has never been that.
Yeah, but if you pull out a lead big enough, you can coast. You can coast. You can coast.
But even in qualifying though, Max saves because as we speed, he saves. Does only one set in Q1. Then what is the others need 2 because they need to go from hard and then change up to quicker tire,
But-
brand new tire.
I think also I need to give props that was due to Max, his Monaco qualifying.
No, it's not even him. It's Adrian Yu who designed that car.
But Max drove it though.
Yeah, that
Max drove it.
especially in Monaco, to pull that off now. Because like the first 2 sectors was already behind.
Look, if there was no driver called Lewis Hamilton, Max would probably be giving Schumacher's legacy.
A threat. No, we're still far from that. We're still far.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, right? I've never seen a guy not called Lewis Hamilton drive a car like that.
But I feel like even though Red Bull this season, like so far ahead, the engineers at Brockley, as Lewis always alludes to, the factory and the engineers at Brockley, they're not sleeping.
No doubt.
They're not sleeping.
You see, but that's the brilliance of a multi or a once in a lifetime talent like Lewis, right? He understands that I am good, I am brilliant, right? But I cannot rely on my talent alone.
You need the machine under you.
Exactly,
Mm.
right? And we see it within LeBron James, your Lionel Messi's, your Cristiano Ronaldo's, right? They get the personal accolades, but they never forget
The team.
You understand? And I see that a lot in Lewis too. And I think he's become more vocal now, especially the fact that Mercedes is not performing. And he knows that if you guys give me a competitive car,
I can take on Max. That's if they both in the same machinery. That's it's not a competition.
It's not a competition.
It's not. Max is not that good, but he can't prepare the Lewis that much. Yeah.
Hence why I'll go back to my comment to say that, outside of a driver named Lewis Hamilton, I haven't seen someone drive an F1 car that good.
Yeah.
Alonso had very good highs,
but that Max lap, in Monaco, I think for me,
will go
probably
down top three.
No, it's probably the greatest lap in Monaco, first of all. Yeah, the greatest qualifying lap in Monaco.
In Monaco, yeah.
Taking into account the track and the last sector to actually pull that off on the last sector, because there's nothing there, just a few corners.
Yes.
There's corners on, there's no speed there.
Yes.
And then in F1, but there's an error missing because we're missing the Anton Senna error in our lines. So for us, the Adam Prost, the previous record breakers, obviously, the previous champions, the previous brilliant drivers, because Ayrton Senna won Monaco 6 years in a row or something. He holds the record for most wins there. So, but in our era, so that's why you said greatness is judged per era.
Yeah.
And Max is going to be, Lewis obviously he hasn't got 10 years in F1, but the Max does. So probably in the next 5 years will be Max versus George versus Yuki Tsunoda, there's other young ones, Charles Leclerc, all these young drivers will be coming through. So we'll have to choose. Even though Mick Schumacher will come back to the mix, into the mix when Lewis retires, because Mercedes just blocked. They blocked what's the other Red Bull team?
AlphaTauri
From poaching. They offered him a seat actually.
Is it?
Yeah, for De Vries to replace Nick De Vries.
Yeah, that's a bit harsh. De Vries is still new, man. But
De Vries is like declined like crazy though. What the hell in this first? Because he was doing well when it's reserve drive, and then comes in flops like this.
So you get.
But there's no doubting he's a champion.
Yeah, but it reminds me just in general life that you get guys who are very good at practice, and then they freeze on the main stage, right?
Is it a time, but like a proven champion F2 and Formula E?
I think
time.
De Vries reminds me of an album, right? Where you get put on, and they tell you dance, and you're like, what do you mean I must dance? Tell me how I should dance. That's stage fright. The moment he gets into his second season, he then knows how to dance.
Like Yuki.
Yeah.
But I feel like he was a Merc driver. I feel like maybe he's more like a Merc.
But also the problem with De Vries, he didn't grow up in the Red Bull stable.
Yeah, so he doesn't know the culture.
Yeah, it doesn't know
he's
the
culture,
but also he's not given the grace
of the other
Red
guys.
Bull drivers are, right?
Yeah.
And De Vries will be just fine.
Because essentially he cross cams basically.
Yeah, literally. And had he been a Red Bull driver, he would have been given grace and he would have understood how they operate that side. But his talent and his track record speaks for himself.
It's proven. And I don't know why they're jumping the gun on him, He's got it. He's got it. He's got the champion blood in him.
Yes. Yes. It's a massive learning curve.
Yeah.
But also at the same time,
once he learns.
AlphaTauri must be honest. They haven't given him the most competitive car.
But Yuki's doing well. He's top 10, Yuki.
Yeah, but Yuki's been there. You're giving a below average car, right? And you're expecting the rookie to perform.
And apparently it's Yuki's future Aston Martin,
It makes sense because 2026 Honda's taking over or is providing the engine. So it's it makes sense. And hence why I keep Nick De Vries. Right? Because he is then going to be the senior AlphaTauri driver, possibly the next one or the next junior to replace Sergio at Red Bull.
Yeah.
So for me, Nick, this plays for Nick De Vries in the sport. Right off the season, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right? But unfortunately, F1 doesn't work like that.
It's cutthroat.
Yeah.
It's cutthroat.
It is.
All right, so with F1 being so cutthroat, I think it's time for us to cut off as well. Cut off the show. What a show! What an enlightening show. Sihle is with your in-depth knowledge of the sport thing. He's just a typical weekend guy like I am. If there's other weekend guys there, weekend guys, weekend girls, feel free to subscribe to the channel, support us on YouTube. Watch this podcast if you're
subscribe and like, guys.
Yeah,
Subscribe
like down below. Give us your comments, guys. We want your feedback. We want you talking to us. Obviously, we will try and respond to some of the comments and respond to many as comments as we can, and then obviously talk about the comments when we meet again. But from us, the weekend guy, signing out. Sihle, say goodbye to people. Say peace.